Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is Tuesday, July 25th. The Cardinals are 10 games out of first, 9 games out of a wild card spot. And honestly, as of where we sit right now, we are smack dab in what could potentially be Mo's biggest week of his tenure.
Yeah, I mean it could be, or it could be just trading off the expiring contracts and nothing else. But yeah, they're hopefully they've at least come to the place where they realize they have zero chance. I think they have to make the
Well, that
playoffs
happened in
because
Wrigley over the weekend.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We haven't talked since then, but yeah, the Cubs put them in their place, I think, a little bit to taking 3 of 4. So I don't know. It's been a mess. The season's been a mess. Mo has to have a good week here. He really does.
For those of you tuning in on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Our last podcast did not get published on YouTube. I won't say names, but it does rhyme with Caleb, who did not get that done. However, for those of you joining us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, it is there. So for those of you on at this point, we were really hopeful of maybe the Cardinals had turned the corner, and you just never know. That's kind of gone down the drain thanks to Wrigley. But thank you again for joining us. Hit that little subscribe button. Tell a friend. You can find us on our socials. Obviously, Mike Noble, Caleb Noble. You can find all of that. We'd love to have you join us. But that last podcast is never ever. It's going to be like the hidden track on iTunes, or not iTunes, on YouTube, where you'll never be able to find it.
Yeah, it was more about it was like, hey, they have a chance to, and then they just didn't. They didn't.
And then
The
Caleb just
umpires
didn't
helped.
upload it. Yeah, let's talk about that really quickly because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. And I have, obviously, as a former player, as a former coach, my disdain for umpires has never been higher. I appreciate that there are people who do go out there and do the job, especially at the youth levels when you got parents yelling at them and everything else. But at this point, bro, like Ron Culpa, he's one of the bottom three. We know Angel Hernandez is down at AAA. Like the umpire, the problem is I don't know if there's anybody better at AAA to move up, but this is getting out of control and it's costing you and I've talked about it. It costs you games, which costs people jobs, which costs organizations potentially millions of dollars, players millions of dollars. This is out of control right now with what's happening.
Yeah, especially that call was pathetic. I mean, that was as direct like that lost them the game. Like it's as
Yes.
direct to that as you can be because if he just does his job right, the game's tied. Who knows? So yeah, and they're just bad. They've been really bad this year, and I don't know when they need to get robot umps or when that can happen, and not all of them, but honestly, I'd be okay with just a challenge system for
Boom.
strikes because Burleson would have said ball. They would have gone up, looked at it 5 seconds, and then he'd walk into first base.
Hey, at
But
what levels do they have that in the minor leagues?
I
Do
think
you
they
know?
have it at all. I think they have it at
Is it
AAA.
all
I
of the
could be
levels? I
wrong.
wasn't sure and I didn't
I
look
could
that
be
up,
wrong,
but
but
I
I
agree
think it
with you. It's
is.
time for that.
Yeah, and the umpires. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on him, but
No, I don't either.
this year more than ever, it seemed really bad.
It feels like every year it gets dramatically worse. And just the ripple effect is so huge. Like it's bigger than that call, it's bigger than that game, it's bigger than that out, strike, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just it can be so big. Well, let's move on to the Cardinals. So obviously they get a win last night. Wayno's back. That was cool to see, I guess. Sure, whatever. Here's the thing. This week, I mean, and I don't know, like obviously Bob Nightingale, not the guy you necessarily ever want to say, oh, that word is stone. But they did the Cardinals evidently Goldie, Nato, Newt, Walker off the table. Now, there's one name missing there that is going to piss me off if he is not a Cardinal in 7 days, and that's Nolan Gorman. And it just feels like that's a guy that to me should have been listed on that list if there is such a list, or if Bob Nightingale made that up. I don't know.
There's not a list like that. Like what do you think he's like get Moselik's like writing names down and giving them to people saying, don't try and get these guys? No.
Right.
No, that's not how it works. Like, here's the thing. When we talk about untouchables, do you think if the Marlins came to Mozeliak and said Yuri Perez for Newbar straight up, he'd say no?
Right. If he did, then yeah.
If he
Right.
did, then he'd need his head examined. But
Correct.
that's what I'm saying. So I don't know where Nightingale gets this stuff. He also said Contreras was on the block and then went
Right.
on a one-on-one ESPN show yesterday and said, I'd be shocked if Contreras is traded. Well, then he's not on the trade block, you
Right.
idiot. Like
Yeah, he gets everything.
I don't hate Bob Nightingale by any means. Like as
No.
much as I have some disdain for some of the people that do these rumor mongering. I hate it. I think it's
Shot
stupid.
at John Heyman.
But anyway, I I don't think that I think he does like to just make stuff up, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And there's another thing I want to talk about. This guy, Alden Gonzalez, another national reporter, I think he's based out of LA. I could be wrong. Um, said that the Dodgers are infatuated with Nolan Arenado and that he could be a landing spot in LA. I've got a couple of thoughts. One, everyone in baseball is infatuated with every single superstar. Okay.
Right.
So if Shohei Ohtani had a contract right now, I'm sure the Cardinals would be enamored with him. I don't think they're going to get him because they're enamored. So that's my first thought. My second thought is um why why do people not listen to the local media?
Or the
Every
player himself.
single every single outlet out of St. Louis has said Nolan Arenado, there's a 0% chance he's traded. So shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. It is so
Clicks, man. You know
obnoxious
the
that
answer.
these
It's all for
people
clicks.
then they said he'd love to play in LA. I'm like, okay, he would. Then why isn't he there? Because he had an opt
Right.
out.
He could have been.
He could be in LA right now.
Yeah. The
So
Cardinals
stop.
did have already made one move. Obviously, we were going to talk about the DFA of Genesis Cabrera, but there's really not much to talk about. Hey, you trade him to Toronto, he's going to go right in their bullpen. We know that now he will be a star in Toronto, so we know that's going to happen. Good for Genesis. But also getting back a 19-year-old catcher, Sammy Hernandez. To be fair, I don't know a lot about him, but I always like 19-year-old catchers like in the system. You can never have too much depth at that position.
It's just nice to get something for him, I think. Like they DFA'd him, and to get a player for him is good. Like if you think about it, when we traded Matt Adams, we traded him for this guy Juan Yepez. Who's that?
Right.
Like, and then he made a big league impact. So you never know. But it was nice to get something for him. Hopefully Hennessy has success in Toronto. I don't know. I think they were just over him maybe as a person more than him as a player. So
Seemed like it.
So I don't know. I think after he threw that ball in Ollie's face, it kind of was like, okay, this might be the beginning of the end.
Seemed like it.
But
So as we approach this week, the trade deadline with the Cardinals, I'm not saying they're done because they're not. You still have. I understand. I get it, but theoretically they're not, and logically they're not.
Logically they are.
Logically,
have
they
you
are.
watched this team?
That's fair. Theoretically, they're not. Look, I've tweeted this a couple times. You and I've talked about it a lot. The one thing that really does, I just can't wrap my head around. And to be fair, I watch a lot of different baseball teams. I don't watch every team. Let's be honest. But I don't think I've ever seen a team with the expectations that we had for the Cardinals, that everybody seemed to have for the Cardinals come in, have a pitching staff 1 through 13 who legitimately, there's not one guy that when they take the mound, you think, oh, we're going to win this game, whether that's in the rotation or in the bullpen. It's the weirdest thing to have a team that should be this is good. He wasn't great the other night, though.
But every pitcher has bad outings.
I'm just saying, and you go to that bullpen. Have you seen what everybody thought was going to? that everybody thought that was going to be a strength. Obviously, of the injury.
I don't know what's happening with that. That's been
awful.
The weirdest part of the season to me, because it shouldn't be as bad as it is, and it's a mixture of they don't have the guys they should have in their bullpen. Like, I don't understand why some of the people who are in the bullpen are there. I don't get it. But it's also Housley being down hurts. But I don't know, overuse maybe. I don't know what it is. I really don't. But Giovanni Gallegos has been awful.
Yes.
He's been really bad. I don't even know if his numbers are technically awful, but I know that if you watch the guy, he's less trustworthy than he's ever been.
It feels like, and I have not been tracing this either, but it feels like the velo is down for Gio as well, which,
he's always been around 93 to 95.
I was going to say that's what I was going to say. He's not a massive velo guy anyway, but man, when you start to drop that 93 to 91, that becomes
and then that just makes you have to rely on your slider.
Exactly. That's all I was saying. That's just, again, that's not me looking.
I still love Gio.
I could be wrong. That's just
he might need, if they don't trade him, which we're going to get into trade candidates here in a little bit, which I think they should. But if they don't trade him, it might be wise to just tell him to take the last 2 months off.
Well, let's do that now. Let's get into the trade deadline because, and I think I'm hoping that as this becomes the next 7 days, you and I will be available to pop on here. And even if they're like 30-minute pods or whatever, I think we need to do that. I mean, it's the biggest part of the
But you know
season
what
right now.
Mo's gonna do? He's gonna make all the trades on the same day. He's not
Of
gonna
course
spread them
he is.
out. Monty and
Um,
Flady will be traded within minutes of each other, guaranteed.
let's start in the bullpen. Okay, let's just start
Okay.
there since that's what we were talking about.
Mhm.
Jordan Hicks. Look, we just saw what the kid from Colorado got
Pierce
going
Johnson.
to Atlanta. Yes, thank you for that. Had it written down, deleted it for some reason, but there we go. Two top 20 prospects or 30 top 30, top 20?
20.
20 from the
One
Braves.
one
Now,
top 10.
now, it is fair to say the Braves' overall system is not as strong. Like just because you're looking at
It's
numbers,
awful. It's so
right?
bad.
Agreed. So there you go. Take that with a grain of salt. But
Their number
that
10 would be our number 20.
that has to tell you that Hicks, if you're looking at a trade, just Jordan Hicks is going to bring you possibly a top 10 prospect from an organization that, yeah, I mean, you look at what you and I've talked on here a lot. Look at what the Rangers have done. Like obviously Chapman blew the game last night, whatever. Look at what the Orioles have done, who I want to talk about later in this. But you're seeing these teams just bolster because we've talked about it for years on here that five innings in the playoffs is kind of what you want from your starter anymore.
Look at what Houston, and to me, I think what the Astros did last year with their bullpen just being absolutely dynamic
Yep.
and kind of being the reason they won. I think
the Phillies
that's
did the
gonna
same
make.
thing.
I think
The
that's
Phillies did the same thing.
Yeah, but they didn't win the World Series. The
I get
Astros
it, but they got to
their
it.
bullpen was just unhittable. No one touched
Yeah.
it. So what I'm saying is that might make bullpen arms more valuable this time around because I think people are seeing, oh, if you have a lights out bullpen, you don't have to rely on all, four of your starting pitchers being good every single time through the rotation.
So I just think I think there's a lot of potential landing spots for Jordan Hicks. There are a lot. Texas, Toronto, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I'm sure I missed Arizona, Baltimore. I mean, I don't think you can rule any of those teams out. And there's probably others. The Dodgers. I mean,
every single team in contention should win.
Yes. So
the Braves.
That's one. Let's talk about Gallegos.
Wait, hold on. I want to go through and give our thoughts on if they should be traded and how likely it is.
Oh, my answer for Jordan Hicks is yes, he should be traded, and I think the likelihood out of a 10 is a 9.5.
Let's do a percentage, you weirdo. I'm gonna go
95. Could you not convert that, bro? You're at fucking U of I. Could you not?
I know, but you're being
5 out of 10 to 95%.
Okay. Yes, he should be traded, and 100% chance he's getting traded.
Okay. Gallegos.
Yes, he should be traded. I'm gonna go 50% that he is.
I kind of think
no 65.
Yeah,
more than half.
He's under contract for next year. I think that might. I mean that's going to be valuable to a team also. Like when you look at that, we've talked about control.
They need to rebuild this bullpen. I think.
I think I agree. It's almost like you need a whole new fresh look. You need a whole new fresh look.
I'd keep Helsley. That's it. I think.
So you're not dealing Helsley. You're not dealing. Obviously, I mean, with his.
So let's go through Helsley. Yeah, no. People do think he should be traded. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Also, just went on the 60 days, so he wouldn't even. No one's trading him.
Two guys that I think could. You're going to get young prospects like a Sammy Hernandez here, but I think Chris Stratton and Drew Verhagen potentially could be traded.
Yeah, those are guys that you can package with other guys and then get more out of them.
Okay, I agree with that. Yes.
Stratton's going to be worth more. He's been really good this year. I actually really like Chris Stratton. I wouldn't be opposed to them bringing him back next year if he wants to come back. 100% chance he's traded, I think, too.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to go for. I don't know. And I don't know if you're going to package him with maybe someone wants him and Jordan Montgomery like we did last year when we got Quintana and him.
Right.
But yeah, I really like Chris Stratton. I would be he's been one of those guys where you trade him away and you bring him back for $2 million next year. I'd be 100% okay with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, outside of that, do you see anybody in that pen, like one that is going to maybe could be involved in? Now, we also have to take into account one thing: you can't trade them all because you have to be able to fill out a roster spot. Like you have to be able to do that. So let's also remember that. But I do think I think Stratton, Hicks, and Gallegos, to me, for sure, should all be traded. I love fan of all three of them. They've helped us. Thank you. But it's time to get them maybe out of here.
Yeah. And Verhagen, I mean, if someone wants him, you trade him. That's what
I agree.
But if someone doesn't want him, then you keep him, I guess. And he fills innings for you. The problem with our bullpen is the three guys that I really like moving forward would be Thompson, once he stops getting jerked around and he just put it in the bullpen. Jojo Romero and Helsley. I like those three a lot.
Yeah, I agree with
After that, you're in a scary spot. So they're gonna have to figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's at the rotation spot. I don't think do you think they're actively shopping Steven Matz? And do you think there's any interest from anybody out there?
I There would be interest because he's cheap and you could eat half of it and it'd be a $5.5 million starter.
Right.
But I don't think I would. I don't think I don't think you're going to have to. If you went to go get a guy that has Steven Matz's potential with his strikeout stuff and his pedigree of success in the major leagues, he's going to cost more than $11 million right now.
I agree.
So I'm just keeping him, and hopefully he down the stretch he does something, he proves something. But I mean, he's the guy that can go out there and give you 9-10 strikeouts in a game.
Yeah.
Like for $11 million a year,
The
that's
problem
fine.
with him is, bro, he just throws so many goddamn pitches. I mean, it's wild how
he does.
He is so ineffective or inefficient. Inefficient is the word.
He's five and fly. We knew that when we got him.
So if you're looking at the pitching staff, then it's essentially in the rotation, we're looking at Flaherty and Montgomery, because obviously you're not dealing Waino, you're not dealing Michaelis, because you have to have him back. Like no matter what, you have to have him back for next year.
And no one would take him on anyway.
And agreed with that. With the extension we just gave him, nobody's doing that. So Flaherty and Montgomery. I'd like to get your take on this. To me, it does really feel like one of those guys should end up in Toronto. I know Toronto got Ryu back. I understand that. It also feels like one of them could end up in Baltimore. Like I just feel like that just seems
that's who
like
I'd be going
great
with
spot.
too.
Yeah, me too.
Like they have so many prospects. I don't know where they're gonna go. I have no idea. I know they're both gone. So if we're doing percentages, 100% for both. And it sucks, but it's gonna be really sad when Jack Flaherty's traded. I'm not gonna be happy when that happens. But I don't know what they're gonna go for. They're gonna go for a lot, I think, especially Montgomery. He's the best left-handed starter on the market. So if you're looking for a left-handed starter, he's by far the best, unless Blake Snell's traded.
Correct.
But I don't think he's gonna get traded. So I don't know. You might be looking at 2 top 10 prospects in an organization, an 8 and a 10. I don't know if you're going to get top 5. It depends on how good the system is, I guess. But
also, if you package
you're going to get a lot.
Someone else.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those moves where you like put him and an outfielder together and you can get, a top 3 prospect in an organization. Like that's one of the moves you can make. I don't know. I'm really interested to see. I wish we're closer to the deadline than we are, because more rumors would be coming out, probably all wrong.
What is the official deadline? What is the date?
A week from today.
August
1st.
That's what I thought. Two other questions for you. The one thing that I think could impact the market for Flaherty, and you brought it up partially, but for Flaherty and Montgomery, because honestly, if you look out there right now, they're 2 of the top guys out there. But I think that you're all right. I'm boring you. We boring you?
No, I'm just tired. I'm tired today.
Anyway, I think the guys who can affect that market are the Blake Snells. If the Mets decide to move one or both of their aces,
which would be very difficult because they have no trade clauses.
I agree, but it doesn't mean it won't. Like it doesn't mean that Justin Verlander's not.
I'm just saying it's unlikely that it happens.
Or back to Houston, but
right.
And Corbin Burns, who the Brewers, I don't think you're going to trade him, but they might. I don't know, but I do think
they're going to trade Hader.
Those guys would dramatically impact the value of Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery, I believe.
Yeah, those are 4 amazing pitchers. So correct. Yeah, they definitely could. I just don't see any of those 4 guys being traded. So I don't think I genuinely think there's a chance that Flaherty and Montgomery are 2 of the top 5 pitchers on the market. Yeah. Right? Like, and Montgomery probably closer to 2, like 2 or 3. So they're going to get a lot of value out of these guys. There's going to be a bidding war. And I'm interested in Flaherty's market. I just don't know what it's going to be, because the upside, you're paying for a chance to get a guy that gets on a roll, and then next thing you know, he's your best pitcher in the playoffs, because he could become that for someone.
I think what's also interesting is this year, you have 4, maybe 5 teams that are not used to being buyers. Like they're used to being maybe sellers or doing nothing. You got the Diamondbacks, the Orioles we've talked about. You've got the Marlins, who are right there, by the way. And obviously they floundered. No pun intended.
They just won their first game after the All-Star break.
But yeah, you've got those 3. You've got the Twins are now, like, they keep increasing their lead in the Central. That's another team who's probably going to be a buyer. And in the past, they've kind of been mid-level buyers. But the Brewers, the Reds, these are all teams that honestly, especially the Reds, not as much Brewers. I mean, I think the market is so much bigger now that is going to increase your value so much
Yes.
because that's a lot of teams involved that in the past have not been, but also what they do have are very strong farm systems.
Yeah, that and they also aren't trading their players, so there's not as many players out there to be had. So
Right.
you're gonna look at like what team couldn't use Jordan Montgomery for the playoff run? Like all of them could use it. You can't find me
Absolutely.
one that couldn't.
No.
So like Houston's probably going to be in on these people, I would think
Yes,
too.
that's another one. That's good. Yeah.
Like so because their rotation's been a mess.
Also,
So
by the way, the
I don't
Rangers. That's
I
another one who
think
hasn't been
I
buyers for a
also
while.
think right. I also think when you look at teams that haven't been buyers in a long time, they kind of feel like they owe it to their fan base to go in. And if you wait out a little bit, they might give you a little bit more than they should give you because they're not
Yes.
used to being in this position. So I am intrigued. I think it's interesting to see Mo have this position of power right now, right? Like he
Yeah.
has the pieces. Come to me. You have to come to me because he's never really in that situation. I want to see how he does with it.
Are you
I'm also
nervous as
really
hell
no,
about that?
I'm not. And here's
Okay.
why, because it can't get worse. So well, I mean, it can't get worse than it is right now, right? Like we're trading expiring
Well,
contracts.
well, I mean,
I am
if you
nervous
get
about
if you get a bunch of squids, it could be worse.
I am nervous about them trading Gorman, but I don't think they're going to.
That
So
yeah.
we need to get
So
let's
let's
get to
move
that.
past. Let's get to that. That's what I want to say. We talked about the pitching that we have. It does feel like maybe an outfielder or two, maybe an infielder will be moved.
Mhm.
I I just worry. Here's my concern. This is past performances leading me to future nervousness. Right. That is that we are going to deal the wrong ones. Like that. That is the concern.
But they are.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
who.
All right. All right.
I don't
All
know
right.
who. I don't know who's going to be the one that goes that's going to
You
hurt us.
think
But
let me give you five names. And I want you to tell me if they're on the 2024 roster. All right.
okay,
For
can
spring
I get
training.
percent? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
You can do
Go
it
for it.
however you want.
Okay.
I'm asking you the question. You answer it however you like. Tyler O'Neill.
Yes,
He's on the 24 roster, not getting traded. Okay.
he's the left
Dylan
fielder.
Carlson.
No.
Okay. Lars Nootbaar.
Yes.
All right. Brendan Donovan.
Yes.
Nolan Gorman.
Yes.
All right. Tommy Edman. I'm going to
No.
continue. Andrew Kisner.
No.
Okay. All right.
Do you want me to give reasoning or
Yeah,
what you
I
think?
thought you were going to do that with each one, but yes, you can.
You just
You
kept
can do
going.
it.
I didn't.
So you believe they're going to trade Carlson and Edman and potentially Kisner, and I think DeYoung's getting moved as well.
I don't think Kisner will be traded, but I don't think he'll be a Cardinal anymore
Okay.
because I don't think anyone who. I mean, I don't want to be rude, but who the hell
I
wants
don't
him?
know who needs like Miami, who needs another catcher. Like that's a potential spot.
I guess, but for what?
I mean, what if Andrew Kisner becomes great because he's playing every day?
Maybe I hope he does. Tyler O'Neill Carlson is the one that I've been taking for a long time. I think a lot of people think this is a smokescreen that he's playing right now. I think it's not. I think they still believe in him. I think he's one
Okay.
of those people that they just can't quit. You know what I mean? Like I do. I think they
Yes.
can't quit him.
Yeah.
He's too
Yeah.
tantalizing of a talent. I don't think they can move on. And I thought they were ready to move on, but I don't think they are. Because if they think a 2 week showcase is gonna do anything for them, they're foolish. Like that's just stupid. But it could just be that they don't want to be like, oh well, they don't want the people to be like, oh well, he's not your starting left fielder, so why would we want him to start in our outfield?
Right.
Well, he was starting 2 weeks before the All-Star break. That could be what they're doing. But I honestly think that they're going to just keep riding out with him. I really do.
I think some other pieces that you could trade, Yepes. I think Burleson's probably tradable. I'm
Probably.
intrigued to
Yeah,
see
I
what they do with
definitely.
Moises Gomez. Like I'm just intrigued. Like it's good. This whole thing, like I said, there's one guy's name that if I see it come across the ticker,
Yeah.
they're dead to me. They're dead to me.
If you do, you're going to have an ace.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Okay, what ace can Nolan Gorman land?
Ace. It would be a potential ace, I guess I should
That's
say.
what I'm. Boom. So I mean,
Logan
I'd rather
Gilbert.
take the 40 home run potential from the left side, which we haven't had on this team, maybe in my lifetime. All right, let's go ahead and keep that 23-year-old guy in the middle of our order for the next fill in the
Here's
blank
the
years
plan.
and ride the
Here's the,
roller coaster.
here's the plan. You trade him for Logan Gilbert, and then you
No,
sign Otani to be your DH.
shut up. Shut up.
I don't even want. They're not trading Gorman. I don't want them to.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go through. What are your thoughts on those people? Like who? Just quickly, who would you have being traded and have
I,
staying for next year?
well, you know my personal feelings on Dylan Carlson. I love the guy, and I think he's
So do I.
been screwed around. He's adding to the list, bro. Add him to the list of
At
people this
times.
organization has fucked up and not known how to handle. Just add him to. For Dylan Carlson's sake, because I am a fan, I'd like to see him go somewhere and a team say, "You're my everyday fill in the blank center field, right field, wherever it is." And I'd love to see him flourish and become a very good
He should
baseball
be a
player.
Yankee.
That's what I want.
That would make so much sense.
I think it's time to move on from Tyler O'Neill. I just don't.
Okay, I'm asking what
I
you
just don't
think will
you
happen.
huh?
What you think they're going to do, not what
Here's
you
the
want
guy.
them to do.
I think they're going to trade O'Neill. I really do.
I don't.
Okay.
Maybe they will.
Right.
I mean, they probably should, but I don't know if they will.
I think they've almost ruined Dylan Carlson's his.
No, I don't think so. People always think that. That's never true.
Maybe
it's never
we don't
true.
know.
Harrison Bader gave us Jordan Montgomery, and he wasn't even playing. He was on the 60-day IL.
Yeah. Do you think Tommy Edman gets traded?
No. Maybe in the offseason. He won't because he's hurt. And he can't
so
hit.
is Bader, and they traded him.
But maybe he will. I mean, he should. I think I like Tom. I don't like saying it that bluntly because I really like Tommy, but
Agreed.
He is a redundant. Because that's another one, like Mason Wynn's gonna bring the defense Edmund can bring with way more offensive upside.
Yes, I agree. At a younger age, also
way younger age,
price.
and 6 more years of control. Yeah. So
it's. Let me ask you this: since you brought him up, after the trade deadline, Mason Wynn a Cardinal, or do you keep him in Memphis for the rest of the year?
He'll be a Cardinal.
Okay.
Paul DeJong will be gone, and he'll be a Cardinal.
Okay. I agree. He should be. What he's doing right now, he's having a fantastic run right now in Memphis.
All right. Who's? This was an interesting question. So what would you set the over under at for Cardinals on the 26-man roster traded? And we can include guys like Edmund and guys who are currently not on it, but basically
the number.
Yeah, the over under.
8.
What would you set it at? 8.5?
That's high. 6.5.
I would take the over.
Okay.
I mean, that's the obvious ones would be Flaherty, Hicks, Montgomery. I think at least one outfielder is gone, so that's 4. I think Stratton is gone.
That's 5.
5. That's a good. Oh, that's close.
I think 6.5 is my number.
I think Gio probably get traded, and then I think you can probably see an infielder traded at some point. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is.
I'll set it at 6.5. We'll report back.
What do you think? Is a good one.
I want to know.
I would take the over.
Okay.
Because I think there might be a trade that trades 4 people.
Okay.
3 people.
And we're not counting the Juan Yepes of the world as people like that, correct?
No.
Okay. All right. It's gonna. I mean, it's
so interesting.
It really is. Like the anticipation is pretty high, actually, of what are we going to do, because
they're not going to watch. They're only going to
go up until the deadline, like till the date.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
they're only going to trade They're only going to trade Flaherty, Montgomery, and Hicks. That's what they're going to do. Watch. I just don't understand why we couldn't get ace level pitcher with 5-year control at a reasonable price.
I mean, to be fair, the really big news is that Taylor Matter's back on this team. So, there is that. What? I'm not even going to say it. I don't even know what's happening with this team anymore, like with this organization. They're so confused. That's what scares me about the trade deadline is, 1, we've talked about when Mo gets backed into a corner, bad things happen. 2, they just feel lost. Like they feel like the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing, and the left hand might be not even on the arm anymore.
I don't know what's going on. I really don't. So I just read Katie Williams came with a report that said the Cardinals aren't inclined to move O'Neill right now. So
there you go.
I'm telling you, it's like he's a drug to them. He's a drug to them. I don't think they can quit him. But this organization's a mess. Why is Ivan Herrera not on this team?
Yeah. Well, because Andrew Kisner's out of options and they refuse to DFA him. Like, that's why.
Why?
And you chose Taylor Matter because obviously I know Brennan Donovan can't throw. I understand that. That tells me, by the way,
that Paul
DeJong's getting traded. That tells me Paul DeJong's getting traded.
Yeah, I hope so.
And Taylor Matter's your
everyday shortstop. 100% chance.
Who had that on their bingo card? That come August 1, Taylor Matter's your everyday shortstop.
That better not be the case. They better have Mason Wynn up here.
I don't know
if I see Taylor Matter roaming around at shortstop, I'm not watching any game. I'm
Here's what
telling
they'll
you
do.
that.
They'll call Win up. He'll struggle for 3 weeks, and they'll call him. They'll send him back down instead of letting him play through it. And
Tell
games
them
that
to throw
don't
the
matter.
ball slower to first base is what they'll do. I was gonna say I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm really, really interested. I think it's kind of fun, I think, because we're never in this position where there's it's actually like they're going to actually do something. Like we know they're going to do something. It's not, well, what if they actually do something interesting? They're going to have to. So
It's
what do you think they need to do? You think they need to go after a young established pitcher? Not
yes,
established, but at least an established prospect where it's like that, like you'd get him and be like, oh wow, that's like immediately your best AAA pitching prospect. Like, they need to do that.
yes, I absolutely do, and that's what scares me. Well, I think the Mariners, I think the Marlins, I think the Orioles.
I don't think you go after the Mariners
You
because
just don't because
they're gonna want two people, and they're not two people I'm trading.
yeah, that's
They're
fair.
gonna want Donovan and Gorman, and I'm not doing it.
You think they'd want both of them?
They want one of them,
Yeah,
and I'm not doing it.
you wouldn't deal. So you would not deal Brendan Donovan for Wu, Miller, or Gilbert. I would. I
I wouldn't deal
would.
Brendan Donovan for anyone.
Caleb.
He's he's got 4.5 years of control left, and he's an 800 OPS leadoff guy that
But
gets
those
on base at
pitchers,
a 400 clip,
I get it. But those pitchers also have. You're gonna. I mean,
and he plays everywhere. I'm not trading him.
if you're gonna keep Brendan Donovan, let's talk about moving Nolan Gorman to left field or right field.
No, Nolan Gorman's my everyday second baseman.
Okay. All right.
He's better than Donovan at second base.
Okay.
I
Whoa,
think.
really?
Yeah, by metrics
Donovan was
and
a
by
Gold
just
Glover.
watching. Not at second base, he wasn't.
No, he was obviously. I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Donovan's a good fielder. I think he's more
Yeah.
valuable when he's moving around.
You expect this to kick off
Like for
weekend
us or for the Cardinals?
over the weekend with the Cubs in town, or do you think they get
Sunday.
through the weekend and start it
Sunday.
on Monday?
I think they make their first trade on Sunday.
Okay.
Their first big trade. I think there might be some smaller ones happening here, setting up.
Because
You're probably going to see some veteran
these
pitchers.
teams, if you're
acquired
these
here.
teams looking and that are in it right now, I mean, they're calling now. Like they're wanting to get that's an extra start from a guy.
I bet they've already got stuff lined up that could happen.
I would think
right
so.
now.
I would think so.
But you got to let it go down because you got to have more teams. The problem is you really don't want these guys to make another start for you.
Okay, let me ask you this. Just looking forward, you almost like next year we know it's Monty and Matt's back. We are not Monty. I'm sorry, Miles and Matt's back. Miles and Matt's back. Libertor's still a massive question mark. Tink Hent's probably still 6 months away. I don't know that he is going to be in line to make the rotation next year. You can't go with all those guys next year. So if we're being realistic right now, you need 3 starters going into 2024, right? And we know that you need probably 5 to 6 bullpen arms, which you can always address that in the offseason. We know that, right? You can also probably get a trade at some point. But if you need 3 arms, do you see them signing 2 in the offseason? Or do you see them making trades for 2 of those guys who will be in the rotation in 24?
I think they sign one, a big one though. I think they're going to sign a big player. I think it's going to be a Nola, a Snell, a Yamamoto. I think they're going to end up with one of those 3.
Okay.
And then I think they trade for one either at this deadline. I don't know. Maybe it's Clark Schmidt. Maybe it's a better prospect. I don't know. And then I think the 5th spot will be McGreevy, Graceffo, Thompson.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that.
Yes, you can. Are you ever going to give those guys a chance to start? Are you going to make them all Ryan Helsley's where they're all in the bullpen?
I mean, Graceffo has been not good in Memphis.
You can't say you can't do that. The Dodgers have had 3 rookies in their rotation this year to start the year.
That's fair. But then the question becomes, why do our rookies come up and never flourish?
Because our pitching development stinks.
So then why do you believe that you can hand it to one of those guys coming up?
I didn't say you can. I said they will.
So you don't think that they're going to add, because you don't think they'll add 3 arms in. You think 2?
I think that too.
Okay.
Because I think one's going to be really expensive, and I think the other one's going to be traded for.
That scares me, bro. So you think they go into next year with Miles as your number 2?
It depends on who they get. It depends on if it's I think there's a chance that they get a prospect that ends up being, or like a Brian Wu or something like that ends up being your second best pitcher, but he may not start the second day of the season.
Right. I got you. It's good. I mean, Brian Wu and Bryce Miller and Logan Gilbert, by the way, all on my fantasy team. However,
Bryce Miller would cost the least.
I think so.
By a lot.
I don't know. They're pretty high on him. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think you've got to add. I honestly, Caleb, believe you've got to add 2 to 3 young arms that can either be in your rotation or in your
Yeah.
bullpen.
They're going to add a
next
lot of
year.
arms. I wasn't saying
think
they're
that's
going to
what you
add.
have to do.
I wasn't saying they're only going to add one arm. I think they're going to add one that's definitely in the rotation for next year.
Okay.
So I think
And then
they'll
you
add a
got
bunch of
Stefan
arms.
McGreevy, Libertor, Tink Hintz, Jerpy.
Hintz and Jerpy aren't. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. By the way, shout out to Braden Jobert, first at bat at Palm Beach, triple.
But he homered.
No, RBI triple.
Oh, okay.
It was awesome. The home run was the Dakota Harris kid, the shortstop from Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
Jace Davis got his first hit.
Yep.
So a lot of guys down there. If you're down
I
by
want
the
to go
Palm
to.
Beach
I'm
area,
gonna
go
try and
watch
get
the
your mom to
games.
go to Palm Beach.
That'd
I
be
don't know
fun.
if we can make it there. Don't think that'll happen. But all right,
Well,
let's take anything else on the Cardinals you want to hit on before we kind of take a look around the league, and then we'll get out of here.
No, that's all.
Like I said, our plan. Thank you again for joining us. Our plan is to pop back on when something goes down with the Cardinals. Obviously,
It'll all be the same day. I guarantee it.
Yeah, gonna happen. Okay. First off, big time shout outs to Scotty Rowland and Fred McGriff being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's interesting to me. I've been on the McGriff train. I just think it's so late to put him in. Everybody wanted to look at 495 home runs. Well, he didn't have 500. The fact is, guys, he lost 60 games in 1994 because of the strike. Imagine how many home runs he hits over that 60 games.
Yeah, he also was one of the best power hitters in an era full of steroids, and he didn't do steroids.
Right. Well, he was also a big power hitter in the pre-steroid era, the early 90s and the late 80s, before the talk and everything popped off. In my mind, hands down, should have been in. Glad he's in. Well-deserved. Changed the landscape for that Braves team when he got traded from the Padres over there. Roland, as a former Cardinal, did Roland go in with the Phillies hat on or no hat?
Cardinals.
He did go in as a Cardinal. I didn't get to watch it yesterday.
We've talked about this
Sunday. I thought so. I couldn't remember. So that's
you didn't think so. You thought he went as a Philly.
Well, no, I couldn't. I didn't know. I was asking.
You said I thought so. No, you didn't. That's a lie.
That's fair.
You didn't think so.
That's fair. Well, I thought we had talked about it before. I just couldn't remember what we had talked about.
Yeah. So if Tyler O'Neill is traded, is he the last player to wear 27?
Yeah. I mean, it based off of what they've done in the past, I would say so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Shout out to Marcus Semien, career homer 200. I am a Marcus Semien fan. Dude plays every.
I was surprised he only had 200.
Game. Huh?
I was surprised he only had 200.
That seems like a lot for Marcus.
He had 45 that 1 year in Toronto.
Yeah, I know, but still, 200. That's a pretty good milestone right there.
He's a stud.
Hopefully, they get Garcia and Seager back here soon. Those hand injuries scare you a little bit, but neither one. I mean, at least
they heal
Garcia
quickly
not
though.
The IL, so hopefully he'll be all right. Let's talk a little bit. We talked about this last week. Now those of you watching on YouTube didn't see it because, well, again, somebody did not publish it. So let's hope you get to see this one.
I definitely haven't had a busy week.
The Orioles, we talked about them going into Tampa Bay. They were percentage points ahead, but really tied when they went in. Took 3 of 4 in Tampa Bay. They are on pace for their first 100-win season since 1980. How about that? 43 years. Eddie Murray. That's pre-Cal Ripken, too, though.
Yeah. Would it be? 1980?
Yeah, I think Ripken came up in 82 or 83.
Okay. Well, that's surprising. Who else would have even been on that team? Was Brooks Robinson wasn't still there, was he?
No, I couldn't even tell you who would have been on that team.
Jim Palmer?
Maybe. I don't know if he's retired by then. Probably.
If it was only Eddie Murray, what did he do? Hit 80 home runs? Was he the only player on the team? They had to have had someone else.
Maybe. I don't know who else would have been there, but
Matt Wieters.
Nope, don't think Matt Wieters was there. Chris Davis, no Adam Jones. But either way.
Good for the Orioles, though.
Yeah.
I spend some fucking money, please.
Bro, Felix Bautista, is he remember last year? Everything was Diaz from the Mets. We had Timmy Trumpets. That was awesome. Yeah. What Felix Bautista? 0.4 ERA in his last 30 games. I watch a lot of I've talked about this. I watch a lot of their games. He's almost unhittable. You have to hit a home run against Bautista to beat him. You know what I mean? You have to get lucky.
Every good reliever, I feel like.
Huh?
That's every great closer.
I agree.
You just have to get one. You have to guess right. His splitter is so gross. It's
freaking huge.
Yeah, they call him the mountain.
Well, that's why they got the hill. That's Cano.
Yeah. What's his name? Yenier Cano? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's also an all-star. They had 2 all-star relievers. That's
Yes.
rare.
Yep.
He's a stud. He's probably the best reliever in baseball right now.
Bautista.
Well, I don't know. Josh Hader's so good.
Yeah, it's just I'm so happy for the Orioles. Like I now you've got one of the top 3 farm systems probably in Major League Baseball. I hope that they don't need to get crazy, but they've got guys who would start right now probably on many major league teams, if not for sure next year, that they're going to be able to deal.
Colton
And I think
Cowser?
you can do that by keeping. You think they deal him?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. That's what I was going to say. I think they
They
keep
should,
him. I think they
probably.
keep Holiday, and I think they keep Rodriguez.
They're not
And
trading Holiday.
you can still they're still going to
And
be able
they
to
still have
deal.
Kerstad.
I know. They have what,
Crazy.
7 or 8 top 100 prospects.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. I'm excited for them. You said last time you thought they were the second best team in baseball. It's hard to argue. I can't argue with it. The Astros are right there. The Astros are getting hot.
The
I
Astros
just don't.
aren't there yet.
I mean, they're getting hot right now. That's all I'm
They have to.
saying.
They have to. Their bullpen has to be better than it's been.
Yeah, and that was those are rotation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've lost a lot
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, I
ways.
think
Their
they're going to
winning
be
ways
heavy
from last
buyers.
year they've
One
lost.
thing we know about Houston is they will buy.
Will the Cardinals in Houston make the first trade since the spying scandal?
We'll see.
They
We'll
haven't
see.
traded with each other since then.
No. Anything else you got before we get out of here?
Ellie De La Cruz
Yeah.
is
Special.
incredible.
He won Rookie of the Year. Has he taken it away from Corbin Carroll?
Corbin Carroll is going to be in the top 5 MVP.
I agree. I agree with you,
But no, Ellie is he led off the game with a home run 2 days ago and pointed in the dugout, was like, I told you or whatever. Then the next game, yesterday, he got robbed of a leadoff home run by Joey Weimer. And then later he hit it out of the stadium in Milwaukee. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know the stadium opened.
Yeah.
He hit it out.
The man stole 3 bases on 2 pitches.
And in Milwaukee again. The Brewers do not like him, I don't think.
Brewers won last night, though. Brewers won last night.
Yeah, he is so much fun though. I'm really rooting for that Reds team to win this division.
That's another
Brewers
team that
is so boring.
We didn't talk about. I think Abbott pitches tonight. Hunter Green will be back hopefully in a couple weeks. They're talking about, but they've got the pieces also. That team has young guys as well, all over, and I think that they're gonna. I think obviously we know their ERA woes. They're worse than the Cardinals. You got to upgrade that bullpen and that rotation.
You want to hear something crazy? And Luke Weaver, that's his name, right?
Luke Weaver.
Luke Weaver's last 10 starts, he has an 8.8 ERA. They're 9-1 in those games. How's that a thing?
They rate.
Makes no sense.
They rate.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Can't do that in the playoffs though. Like you're not going to get away with that.
No. But is Lodolo coming back? I don't even know. But
no, Lodolo's out for the year, right? Lodolo's out for the year, I think.
Is he?
I think
probably.
so.
He probably is. I haven't heard anything about him.
Yeah.
But if you get that sucks because they had Green, Lodolo, and Ashcraft. Because coming into the year,
Abbott, bro, you forgot about Andrew Abbott, who's been like the best one.
I know. I don't believe it.
Why?
I think it's smoke and mirrors.
That's what the Cardinals.
Because I've seen the guy pitch and nothing special about it.
Nothing but smoke and mirrors for 12 years.
I agree. Okay, yeah. So maybe he'll be good. He'll have a 10-year run, and then he'll fall out in flames in the 11th year. But yeah, I don't know. He'll be solid. I just don't think he's going to be great. He's not going to be a top 3 in a rotation. They need to get a starter. They need to get Shohei Ohtani. Is what they need.
Last team I'll ask you about. They're not. The Angels aren't trading Ohtani. I think I've gone 180 on that. I thought they were going to. In fact, I got not into an argument discussion with the guy at the bar about how I thought they had to. Now I just don't think they're going to.
They do have to, but they're not going to.
Yeah. Braves, the team that nobody talks about because they're so damn good. They're good. We also know that Anthopoulos will add. Like we know that
he has twice.
Right. I'm just saying. But it could. You think that they go rotation? You think that they have to be right? I mean, Soroka has almost a 6 ERA since coming up.
They're a trade deadline dream for the Cardinals, I think.
Really?
Yeah, they need an outfielder and they need a pitcher.
Do they? I don't know enough about the Braves farm system to be fair. That I don't.
They have some pitchers that you would want to have.
Okay, I assume they did.
Smith-Shawver guy especially is pretty good.
That's the name I've heard. Ian Anderson.
And then they still got Dylan Dodd. They still got guys like that. I don't love those guys. But did you see Ian Anderson?
Yeah, like I've heard his name out there, not for the Cardinals.
No.
Just that they may, but I mean you're trading somebody there for
He sucks.
future.
He's so bad.
Well, he was great one year, but yes, I agree. And he's still young.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. He's bad. Let's get a reclamation project in here because we can fix pitchers and we can do anything.
I by the way, I brought it up, but again, the majority of you who watched didn't hear it, and I never did tell you who sent me the Alek Manoah trade thing, and that was Mike Godar, and I thought I liked the idea of getting Manoah in here because I know
it's not going to happen.
I know, but I like it. I'm on it.
I don't. He's broken. He doesn't have anything.
I mean, can we bring Dave Duncan back to fix him?
Yeah, I mean, great. If we can get Dave Duncan with him, I'll make that trade. If Dave Duncan comes in with Alek Manoah, I will make the trade.
I think the Rangers are going to be adding bullpen depth. Their bullpen is pretty.
That's almost exclusively what they're adding. Yeah, I think. Maybe an outfielder. They might want an outfielder too. That's a team you can look at as well. Like,
I agree.
Because who they have Adolis and Tavares out there, but who's their other outfielder?
The kid in left field, Durant, is it not?
Ezekiel Duran?
Yeah,
he's playing shortstop, isn't he?
Was Seager hurt?
Oh yeah.
I'm saying when Seager comes back,
he plays everywhere. So yeah, you're right. I forgot about him.
So I don't know really that they're looking to upgrade in the outfield.
I forgot about him. He's a stud. They're loaded. My God.
Yeah. Yep. That's a fun team.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Okay. Let's do this. One surprising player not on the Cardinals that will be traded at this deadline.
Surprising player not on the Cardinals. Yeah, I'm going to tell you it's Verlander.
Really? I just don't see that. It's so much money to go and so much that's commitment for 2 years at the deadline.
I'll even tell you who.
Who?
He's going to be a Texas Ranger.
And they're paying $40 million a year.
Is there another organization that you would question doing that?
San Diego's do it.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But that's what I think. The other team, and I just don't see the Mets doing it, would be the Dodgers would take a chance on Verlander because that is up their alley and they could afford him. I just think that the Rangers see the window, and I'm not saying that window's closing. It's not, because you're going to get DeGrom back in a year and a half, whatever. But I think you bring Verlander in, he almost replaces what you thought Jacob DeGrom was going to give you for a full year, and that you have him and Eovaldi going into a playoff series with you got John Gray, you got Martin Perez, and you got Dane Dunning. I just think they're adding at the bullpen. If you can do that, that's the team that I think they got the prospects to give the Mets. They've got the money. There's no doubt about it that their owner will spend it. I just think that could make sense. And I think that Verlander would waive his no trade clause to go back to Texas. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I asked you this question. I don't have an answer to it.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm trying to think. I just don't. That's tough. That's really tough. I almost feel like this trade deadline might suck. They really might.
Or it's going to be one that we never saw coming.
Every team has a reason not to sell.
Yeah.
Basically, most teams.
I'm intrigued to see what the White Sox do. Like, that's another team that's going to have.
They should sell everyone. That's what I'll go with.
I agree.
I think he's gone.
I agree. I think that's another team that's going to have a lot of players.
I'm saying Dylan Cease.
Okay, there you go.
I think he's going to be a Baltimore Oriole.
That would be awesome.
That's such a good fit. They have so many prospects they can give up, and they need a guy that can be there for 3 years.
Yeah, I wonder if the Sox might even have a bullpen arm that you would add into that deal. Do you know what I mean?
Hendricks.
Oh God, could you imagine Hendricks could know what he's at the end of a game? Oh, that'd be awesome for the Orioles. All right. Well, let's get out of here. Coming into St. Louis series all year, and it's freaking almost August.
Wild,
that's idiotic. By the way,
wild's a word. I would use the word stupid, but
yeah, well, that's because of London. We got screwed out of that, but
we did that to ourselves.
Doesn't make any sense. I don't love by the way, can I tell you this last thing and then we'll get out of here? I really like the balanced MLB schedule. I love teams playing everybody. Big fan of that. I just hate the way that they've done some of the games. Like, there's no reason the Cardinals shouldn't be playing the Cubs in September. Like that, just those are things that need to be fixed.
There's some scheduling errors.
And I think it happens again next year. Like, we don't play the Cubs in September.
It's because they don't prioritize that rivalry for some reason.
Yeah, which is weird because also, like, tourism for both cities in September when you're back to school, that's a massive weekend series for those towns.
I don't get it. I don't get why they prioritize Boston. I get why they prioritize Boston and New York because they should. That's the best rivalry in all of baseball.
Yeah, but you could do.
But it also seems like they prioritize the Giants and the Dodgers over it too.
Well, you could prioritize all three. Those are probably the three biggest rivalries in baseball. Probably.
three biggest historical rivalries because
Correct.
there are
Correct.
like
There you
current
go.
ones
That's
like
fair.
because I agree with I think Rafael Devers said this maybe that the Red Sox Yankees does not feel like it used to. Doesn't.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
I guess Don Zimmer is not
I'm
getting
in,
thrown on his head.
I'm intrigued to see what Boston does too.
I think they should
I
add.
really am. Huh?
They should add. Why not?
Yeah, I agree.
Go for it. Like why would you
Yeah.
not? I don't know why you want it. I'm
Yep.
not trading. I'm not. But if I'm them, I'm not getting rid of my. Obviously, I'm not getting rid of Tristan Casas. I'm not getting rid of Marcelo Meyer. Those guys are staying because those guys are studs. But I would go out there and I mean, why not look see what there is to get a pitcher, get a
Interesting to
reliever.
see what the Yankees do too. I think that AL East is going to be wild to see what those 5
The
teams do in
Yankees
the
should
next week.
sell.
Yeah, I think so too.
The
But I
problem
don't
is
know.
who are they going to sell? No one. The only player that they could sell that has value, I think, is Gleyber Torres.
Garrett Cole.
He's too expensive, and he's at. And now, like you pay. Remember, you sign a reliever. I mean, you sign a starter to whatever 10 years, whatever it was. You're hoping you get the good first 5 years, like 6 years. Like he's already gone through 4 or 5 of those. Like they're only going to want him.
He doesn't show any signs of slowing down though. That's all I'm
It
saying.
happens fast with pitchers.
That's true. That's true. All right. All right. Well, hey, guys, as always, thanks for joining us. Like I said, you can follow us on our socials. Hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back probably quite a bit over the next 7 days. So
Probably
stay
not.
tuned.
Probably one day because they're going to
You're
ruin our
probably
plans.
right. What Mo's going to do is trade
We'll
them
be
all to
back till
one
next
team.
Tuesday.
One trade, all one team, and that's it. That's what he's going to do.
Monty Flaherty Hicks to another team. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Better get a good prospect.
Y'all are the best. Have an amazing rest of your week. We will be back, but we'll talk to you soon. Go Mo.